2, 1. And good evening, San Francisco. Welcome to the program. My name is Stephen Leader. I am your host, along here with Max, who's my co-host. And we have with us in the studio tonight a marvelous guest whose name is Mike Kabler. Mike, welcome to the show. Hello,
Thanks
Mike.
for having me. It's great to be here.
Let me just pull up your particulars here. Okay, Mike, you are an artist. What kind of artist are you?
I work with paper collage.
And what does that mean exactly? I have some memories of paper collage which I want to share with you.
Yeah.
The first one was when I was growing up and basically destroying my grandmother's rhinestone collection to paste these rhinestones on this picture of the Virgin Mary that's from a book I destroyed from Venice. And so, in other words, for me, collage is a bit of a destructive process. And plus, I think there are a lot of people out there that really are upset the fact I destroy rhinestones and books on Venice and all that sort of stuff. The other memory I have is when I was at Walton House. As part of art therapy, we did this concept where we would get a whole bunch of magazines, break out the glue, and we would make art, and would end up with a whole pile of cuttings and clippings and all kinds of it was a wonderfully, again, it was a destructive process.
Right.
But tell me about what collage is
Well,
for you.
I can see where collage can be a destructive process, although I've always seen it as a great way to preserve little bits of paper material that I find. I tend to work a lot with older paper, and so I feel like I'm a bit of an archivist because I can go through old books and I feel like I'm saving them from mold or the recycling bin, and I add little bits and pieces to my work and it'll be there for a little bit longer.
We actually met a couple of weeks ago at a gallery in Oakland. Tell me more about the opening, if you will.
Sure.
And I'll throw my 2 cents in as well.
Well, I've currently have a show up at Buzz Gallery in Oakland, and that's at 2318 Telegraph. And it's a solo show of different collage pieces of mine. There's 21 pieces in the show. And I have 3 or 4 different styles of collage that I've presented in the show, and so far it's been very well received. I've been quite happy.
What do you mean by 3 or 4 styles? I mean,
well, I work with some different styles of collage. I do sort of a woven technique where I make collages, razor blade them apart, and then weave them back together like fabric. And more recently, I've been working with just black and white paper to create more kind of natural scenes of flowers and plants. And I also do some other, combine the imagery in other ways.
We've actually got some samples that we're going to look at a little later on in the show. Max, did you?
Great.
I did have a question. First of all, what inspires you as an artist? Tell me where you get your creative energy from.
Well, everywhere. Usually it's somewhere like I'm walking down the street and I'll see something like an old building that's falling apart and that's got spray paint on the side. I basically love urban decay, and I find a lot of inspiration in that. As you see the wood breaking down and the metal rusting, I've always loved that part of the outdoors in an urban environment. It's like being in an art gallery for me. I'm not one who really goes to galleries so much, but I'm really into seeing what's in my immediate surroundings, like what I'm surrounded by in the street.
As a matter of fact, I love that sort of urban decay as well. Do you think it's like nature encroaching in on the city, or do you think it's a question of just seeing how the colors become different? Rust is opposed to shiny metal. I mean, what does urban decay mean to you?
Well, it means all of those things, and for me, I tie that in with my artwork. In that, to me, urban decay, there's this sense of tension. The nature is overtaking the urban jungle at all the time. Everything is constantly in a state of entropy in my eyes. And in my collage work, I'm always attempting to create bold images that are intriguing to look at and that carry that sense of tension to them. So a lot of my pieces, you'll see, bits of dripping paint, or it looks like things are actually decomposing.
I noticed that. I mean, when I went to your gallery opening, first of all, the place was absolutely packed, jam-packed with people. It was like the glitterati of Oakland, and it was also because it was Bicycle Month, right? So they actually had a street fair on the outside. Now, this is also part of Art Murmur, isn't it?
Right, it is.
So several galleries are open. The streets are packed with the high and hopeful of Oakland, and bicycles are the theme. There is like a giant metal snail from Burning Man there. There are always people who are handing out bike literature. We did a show last week on bicycles, as you probably are familiar with.
Yeah.
And so this is all like totally in the vibe, and we come in and I see your work. And the things that struck me much about it is, first of all, you have a wonderful attention to detail. A lot of the work you have to get really close up to and just see, and you go, oh my God. In fact, some of the stuff like on your website, is there a syringe in one of your paintings, for example?